The Big Five will be concluded today as Africa's quest to be at the 2014 FIFA World Cup winds down here, and we find out who the Big Five will be to represent us out in Brazil. Egypt against Ghana, the first of the two games that will be live on your World of Champions here. This is a game that served up 7 goals, in fact, make it in the first leg for the Egyptians, the home side, who have recently seen an Egyptian side, of course, being crowned African champions in CAF Champions League duty. They'll be hoping to witness their side here come up with the impossible in trying to turn around that 6-1 deficit. It's a huge ask against a side that's amongst the most impressive on the continent and has been amongst the most impressive on the continent over the last couple of World Cups. Then, of course, the Black Stars of Ghana, who will be looking to send their side off and end this quest to get to Brazil in the most positive of ways. Very good afternoon, evening it is to you. I am Sizu Mapena, proud to be a part of the team that has brought you all of the qualifiers, or in fact, all of this playoff round up to this point, the drama, the goals, the sending offs when there have been some, and proud to be a part of the team that concludes it all here this evening. It's time now to, of course, introduce the men that will be sitting alongside me and helping us break down this game all the way through. Closest to me, a man who originates from out in Cairo, Alexandria, Egypt, in fact, I should say, holds Egypt very close to his heart and was, of course, the coordinator for the Al Ahly side when they were down here in South Africa, most recently, just a few weeks ago. Khalid Ali, a very good evening it is to you, Khalid, and let's talk about the importance of this game. Whether there is hope or not for Egypt going into this game, can the impossible be done?
Yeah, it is a hope for it. Absolutely is a chance. We don't have that strong chance, but it is a hope in football. We just work on that hope. If in one chance, we have to go for it. It's rather you lose or you win. So it's no difficult. You already lost 6-1. So today is very difficult game, but it's not impossible. Everything can be possible today.
Well, there you have it. It's not impossible, says Khalid Ali. Then as well, Egyptians all around the world, not just out in Cairo, in Egypt, are hoping for a huge turnaround here, one that would be legendary and would go down in folklore for sure if it was to happen. Now, in the middle of the set, we do have a man that, is a former South African captain in Bafana, and as far as they go, of course, he's known as Neil Tovian, otherwise, or AKA Mokoko. Neil, good evening it is to you. A lot said, of course, about Ghana, that first performance and what is necessary from an Egyptian point of view. Of course, us South Africans would have been in awe of what we saw when Orlando Pirates were out in Egypt just a week ago in support in the 12th man. Yeah. Or possibly 12th or 13th man, as Mark Leeson likes to put it. In this particular case, though, how important is the crowd and their presence in, hopefully, for the Egyptians, helping them turn things around?
Well, you always need that, but there's a concern that, you just hope in that way that the game goes very, very well, because, with a scoreline like it is, any glimpse of that is not going quite according to plan, sometimes the crowd can get against you, can work against you. But they're certainly going to support them. They're always renowned for supporting, as you saw in the Champions League fixture. And certainly it's a tall task, but they'll have to defend a lot better.
Have to defend a lot better. Of course, they'll have to come good on both sides of the field here, will the Egyptians, both in defense and also in attack. Now, over to a man who is from a nation that was the very first to secure their place out in Brazil on this continent. We do refer to them as champions, and thus refer to him as champion, as being from Nigeria, under 17 world champions, the senior national team, currently the African champions. It is Emeka Enyatike. Emeka, an absolute pleasure to be in your company once again. Look at it from a Ghanaian point of view here. Is it just a case of, look, don't take any risks, play it nice and safe, don't do anything you don't have to do, and you're through to Brazil with no worries?
I think so. I think, Egypt are going to come out smoking. Fireworks, lasers, flares, you name it.
Not with 6.
The Egyptians have been known, both at club side level and national team level, to come back from adversity. And this is one of those big challenges. I don't think they believe, despite all the fact that they've tried to play down their chances of qualifying, there's still that burning belief within the Egyptians that they can score 5 goals. So for Ghana, they need to look at what happened to Ivory Coast a couple of days ago in Casablanca and approach this game cautiously. If they have a sniff of a chance, they get a goal if they can. But 6-1 is such a huge advantage that, if you get careless, trust me, Egypt can score. And, when you look at the Egyptian lineup that they put up today, it's it shows that Bob Bradley, who normally doesn't play with more than one man up front, is ready to give it a go. 3 forwards. So it's going to be a very, very, very important game. And from a Ghanaian point of view, I think that the Ghanaians will be cautiously, but looking at it from point of view of we are almost there. Let's not.
Wow. Almost there, the Ghanaians. But for the Egyptians, as well, Emeka just pointed out, they're going for broke here. 3 strikers up front, and a bit rare, maybe some would say, from a Bob Bradley point of view. But let's have a look at what they need to turn things around here. And it's not all that easy for the Egyptians. It does mean one thing. If Egypt is to win, we are in for some great entertainment here. Plenty of goals are necessary from an Egyptian point of view if they are to go through. Whilst for Ghana, it's pretty straightforward. For Egypt, 5-0 win will see them through. A 6-1 win for Egypt will send the game into extra time and penalties, and what an even that would turn out to be if that was to happen. And a victory for Egypt by 6 clear goals will hand them passage to the World Cup. 6 clear goals. Now, I have to ask you, Khalid, when we spoke of Orlando Pirates and Al Ahly, especially in the home leg for Orlando Pirates, I asked you about the first goal, the importance of that first goal and how quickly it came. You said if the Egyptians scored it here at the Orlando Stadium, it would be a done deal. Now looking back, you were right. They scored that goal, they were comfortable over 2 legs. How important is the first goal here and how quickly does it have to come?
Okay, if you look at this game today, right, first of all, we have to believe Black Stars are not that easy team. First of all, Black Stars, a big team and big strong team, right? Number 2, Bob Bradley must start the game first half as 3/4, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. 15 minutes, he must hold the ball, right? Remember, you have on the Ghanaian, Asamoah Gyan is a very, very strong striker with a small chance he can score. So you have to secure your own defense. You mustn't get an earlier goal against you. So you look forward on the first 15 minutes, you have to score 1 goal. If you score 1 goal in the first 15 minutes, then the game will open up. Because you look at the stadium, right, it's 40,000 fans. I'm sure if they score 1 goal, it will be 100,000 go through to the stadium. Because as I told you, nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. You're already out. We need a miracle today to go to Brazil.
And of course, it's time to make things happen in front of goal, as you do point out. Now, Neil Tovey, looking back at that first leg game, 6-1 the scoreline, and just looking back at the overall picture, the 6-1 scoreline. Firstly, is it fair on the Egyptians on their performance on the day? And secondly, how vicious were the Ghanaians for anyone that may have missed that game?
Yeah, you know what they are looking to do, what the Egyptians are looking to do today is what Ghana did to them in the first leg. They scored early, scored a couple of goals early. It just disrupted the whole Egyptian makeup because then, 2 early goals and it takes sort of asks Egypt to come out a little bit out of their normal structure. And they do get one back with this penalty. Obviously nudged in the back. And they do come into it. And you can even see Bob Bradley, he's quite excited about the penalty. And at this stage, 2-1. Great result, because they got the away goal. At this stage, it was going to be a really, really good result for Egypt. There you can see he's clapping, he's throwing his hands around, he's quite excited. But then some sloppy defending for the remainder of the match, and sort of puts a towel beyond them.
Now, Emeka, having a look at this Ghanaian performance from the last time around, lots of words were used in describing the win. For one, maybe the Egyptian defense too slow, but I'd like to give the win the way of the Ghanaians and say maybe the Ghanaians were too quick, too physically strong over maybe an aging Egyptian side, as many people pointed out. What were your views on this particular performance?
I think one of the big...
From a Ghanaian point of view.
Yeah, one of the big problems in this game here was simply that the Ghanaians exploited the fact that Wael Goma for Egypt was kind of slow. And you find that there were moments, for instance, when Michael Essien went right through the entire defense, and Wael, who was like the sweeper, just couldn't sweep things around. And these Ghanaians, especially like Christian Atsu that we've seen here, who scored that goal now, youngsters, exciting, and they really had a runner on them. And Bob Bradley has adjusted his team slightly. While Goma has gone back to the
talking about the adjusted team, 5 changes.
Yeah.
So that from the first leg.
You want to go through to Brazil?
Yeah.
You have to. It's right now. The team is right. You can look at the startup Rami Rabia, which is like 22 years. He can fit. Yeah, younger. Yeah. He can fit. Not like Wael Goma, Why Goma is little bit old, and Asamoah Gyan was playing on him. You mustn't give a space to this striker. You mustn't give him a space. Like play man to man against him. Don't give him a chance. If you give him a chance, he will score, which has happened on the first leg. You look at Kahraba. He put Kahraba in. He's playing in Swiss. And Hazim Imam, the back right for Zamalek, which was done nice on the Egyptian Cup. He's also. And Abu Trika, I hope today Abu Trika can be in form. Mohamed Salah can be in form. I hope these two players can be off form. And Asamoah Gyan must be off duty today also. It's a hope.
It's no surprise to you. It's no surprise to you saying that. Now, here's some nice pictures we've seen, Neil Tovey, with these World Cup qualifiers, the traveling fans. And in some of the venues, I remember in Burkina Faso, Algeria, we're allowed to sell 1,500 or so tickets and bring their traveling supporters over. We've seen out there, we'll know it's hostile for the Black Star supporters and so on, but it's always nice to see the traveling fans being welcomed into a venue such as this for a game as important as this.
Yeah, there's no reason why not to travel when you're 6-1 up the first leg. It's a lovely travel for you because, you're not going to, it's going to be, you'll be seeing the side going to the World Cup. So, they're following and they're really, really happy about it and they're looking forward for the final whistle to really be blown.
Well, I am speaking to you, Neil. I'd love to know, with those goals we look back on, there are some educational points you would like to give us here with regards to the Egyptians and maybe the defending or how those goals were scored from a Ghanaian point of view. Please take it away.
Yeah, obviously in the opening goal, I just didn't feel, if you have a look here, if you analyse it, there, what's good about it, it's just a quick touch. He hasn't brought under control. There we're talking about not close enough to Gyan. He should have been behind him, should have been tighter on him, and then obviously he's going to get a run at goals. And what he does effectively well, he shoots, but he shoots across the goalkeeper into the far corner. So a good lesson for strikers. When coming across one-on-one, you shoot across the keeper, great opportunity. But there you could see the marking. What was good was a quick touch, didn't control it the first touch. Later on, marking wasn't tight enough, getting in behind in the right areas to cover behind.
And once he pulled away, the pace was too much.
I have to say, Asamoah Gyan, amongst all the strikers, is one with the most gifted technique.
Well, let's have a look at the second goal. There's
two
different types of goals as well.
Yeah, this goal too. I mean, in a free kick, you cannot afford to leave three players against one defender at the far post. Obviously, three jumping against one, there can only maybe be one result. You're leaving it open at the back. The concentration, the defending of Egypt here, all focused, the entire sight was on the ball.
On the ball, yes.
It wasn't the ball and the man to pick up the man. So that's where they fell short in that regard there. And it's very, very similar to the next goal that we can diagnose as well, where there's also leaving three against one at the far post for Gyan's the other goal.
Now, from a Ghanaian point of view, though, they'll be happy with that, Emeka. They scored different types of goals. It wasn't just a striker against defender situation where the pace of the youth maybe saw the advantage coming through. They also scored from set pieces. That would have been encouraging as well.
Yeah, I think Ghana has improved in this particular campaign much better than even the build-up to the last World Cup. Then they got one-goal victories and that's what they went through. But this time around, they've got players scoring and players coming off the bench to score. And if you look at their formation, they've got focus will be on Asamoah Gyan, of course, and he's very good at taking on defenders and taking as many of them as he can out of the way and paving the way for his other teammates to get goals.
Well, if you're just walking in, then we do have the team list scrolling right at the bottom. Can tell you from the Egyptian side, we have had as many as 5 changes from that first leg. Whilst from the Ghanaian, well, they're keeping it more of the same here. Just the one change, Neil Tovey, one change from a Ghana point of view. What does that tell you?
Yeah, well, they don't want to change too much. They're showing confidence in their selection, like they did at home. They've got enough players there, because at home you like to attack a lot. When you travel away from home, you like to use at time a different formation, a different system. But they're very confident within themselves, obviously. They've got players there like Essien and them that can do the defensive job and the hard work in the midfield if they require it. So they're a very good setup. They work hard for each other.
Now, in both these nations, both these current squads from both Egypt and Ghana, you've got a nice mix of youth and experience. You mentioned the youth that's now been included in the squad with the 5 changes made. You look at the Egyptian side, the likes of Abu Trika, plenty of experience there. But then there's also an equal amount of experience from this Ghanaian side, your likes of your Michael Essien and so on, who were present at the 2006 World Cup. Nicely matched. these two sides.
Look at Bob Bradley when he, in the group side, right? In the on the group side, right? He plays 6 matches, right? He get 18 points. You look at the matches. It's not the same team he played today. Next 2 weeks is a different team. So if you look at the Egyptian teams, 2010, 2008, you know the player before even 1 week. Who's going to start up? Okay, it can be a small problem for the players. They don't play with each other. Remember one thing also, we're going to go back to the same history. Is no league for 2 years, which the national team pay for it now. Is no league. How come you ask a player for no league to go qualify for the World Cup?
It's a hard ask.
But we have, now we have a chance. Now, I can see the startup. It's okay. It's okay for Egypt. Only we need a chance to score 1 goal, then we'll go for it.
Have to ask you, Emeka's going to set the tone here. Predictions. I need them quick, I need them sharp. We're running out of time. Emeka, I'll start with you.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Neil?
I think Egypt might shade it, but it won't help them with the qualification.
Khalid?
Egypt going to win, but I'll tell you if they're going to qualify for the first half. First half going to pass, I'll tell you if they're going to qualify or not.
So, we'll find out from Khalid then if Egypt will be through to qualify for the World Cup come the half-time break. But after Ghana won by 6-1 out at the Baba Yara Stadium, it's time now to cross over to Cairo, to cross over to a game that many on the continent have been looking forward to. It's part 2 of Egypt up against Ghana. Many will say there's no surprises with the way that first 45 minutes went out. Egypt, of course, pressing on, looking to start pulling away and plucking away at that aggregate scoreline of 6-1 going into the match. They've pulled one back in, while Egyptian supporters may very well be happy with the way things are fed and maybe hoping that things could have been slightly better. 1 or 2 other chances that maybe could have gone a different way. Time now to reintroduce the panel, of course, and of course, let's talk about that, the chances created or lack thereof in the way of goals in that first half. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, we score 1 goal. That's what the Egyptian coach was relying on it from first half, 30 minutes to score a 1 goal, which he done, scored a 1 goal. But now the player should press on. You can see on the defense of Ghana is too much spaces, right? You can go run with the ball.